I'm embracing imperfect.
All right, this is the third time I have tried to film this and record this because my computer yesterday was just like overheating and blah. So here we are again. I'm really, really hoping that it works this time because I would love to go through the process, like the recording process, I guess some of the thought process behind putting together the From Now On song with the choir involving you guys, or at least some of you guys. So first of all, I hope everyone is super well. Thank you guys for the support you've shown so far on the track and just in general. It's very cool. I appreciate it a lot. I may sound kind of croaky because it's first thing in the morning, but I wanted to talk about firstly the thought process behind posting the initial video that went viral, for lack of a better word. So it has like 1.5 million views, which is the biggest video I've ever put out, like in terms of one video. And but the reason I want to talk about this is because before I posted it, I was really hesitant to post it. I was like, people, it's like a minute of me singing and just like jumping around looking like a fool. People, this is going to be like so cringy. People aren't going to want to watch it. And I really was like hung up about it. And it took me a week to post it. And I've spoken about this before, just get stuff out there, just post, blah, blah, blah. But it was different from the videos that I was usually posting, which were between like 15 to 20 seconds. I found that historically has been a pretty good sweet spot in terms of like people's attention. Like people don't owe you their attention. It should be earned, and retention of attention. Attention is earned and retention is earned. Basically, that's kind of what I believe. And when there's so many people competing for attention on all these platforms, like I feel like you really just have to like get the best stuff out there, make that 15, 20 seconds pop, and then finish the video. So I was super hesitant to post the video, but I was like, you know what? I had fun making it. I had fun, like when I'm singing, you can see that I'm having fun doing it. So I was like, hopefully that energy is engaging for people and that kind of transmits. Anyway, as it happens, it does. So it's a big learning for me is like, all right, maybe I should show more of my, because one of the things I love doing is performing live. And when I'm performing live, I'm moving around and like really getting into the music, which is something that I probably haven't shown a lot on, social media and the content that I've done. So I really want to start doing that because that's a huge part of the musical experience for me, and I feel like it could be enjoyable for other people. So, number one lesson: always post and then assess later. Don't get in your head about it because what the hell do we know? Second thing is, I want to go into the production of the song and just kind of show you guys what I ended up doing because I was umming and ahhing about even recording this song, So the video goes viral. A bunch of people asked me to record it and release my own version, but the problem is, so I'd recorded the video on top of the official backing track, which is like I found a YouTube video of the backing track of From Now On, which was like the official recorded version with the cast and everything. And that's what I sang on top of for my video. But I couldn't release myself singing on top of that backing track as an official song, like on Spotify and all the rest of it, because I would need permission from the record label that owns that to use that backing track as a sample and then release it. And there was no way, A, that I was going to get permission, B, that I would get permission in a timely manner. So the only way I could release the song is if I recorded it myself. But I'd never recorded a song like this before. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of instruments. It's huge. There's like big drums and everything like that. And not to mention, there's this massive choir that comes in. So I was like umming and ahhing. I was talking to Justin, who is my main man, my main collaborator and keyboard player and producer and all the rest of it. And he was like, look, you don't want to just release a poor man's version of From Now On. You don't want to just release a version of the song that just kind of sounds like a shitty version that you made in your bedroom because it's kind of embarrassing. So why don't you do something completely different, like reinvent the song? And I was like, yeah, but the reason people wanted me to release it is because I'd taken what they had loved about the song and then just added a little bit of, you know, my vocals on top. So I wanted to kind of honor that and not just like be a bit wanky and try and like reinvent the song in my own image. So I eventually decided, it was weird. It was actually my mum who was like, I was talking to her about it and she was like, so basically what you're telling me is you're not good enough to like make the song. And I'm like, well, I don't know about that. And she's like, well, it sounds like you're making excuses. Just do it. So I was like, all right, well, fuck you, mum. Maybe I will. I didn't say that. I would never say that to my mother. But point being, I ended up going for the whole thing. And I want to just show you guys a little bit behind the production. Now, this isn't the best song that I've ever produced. I'm kind of out of my comfort zone with this one in terms of the instruments and the way that it grows. And I don't really know what I'm doing in terms of like mixing and stuff like that. But I started with the acoustic guitar and I wanted to make a kind of jangly acoustic guitar sound. I don't have a 12 string. I only have a normal acoustic guitar. So I played it really close to the bridge and sounds like this. And then I added in some electric guitar. Now, one of the ways that I was going to add my own little flair in was with some syncopated electric guitar melodies. That's something that I have in quite a lot of my music. Most popular music comes from Africa in some way. It reminds me of kind of like South African guitar melodies and stuff like that. But this sort of thing. And then on the other side, I had a different one with a different guitar. So it's already created a bit of a groove, which is slightly different to the original song, kind of swung and syncopated. But that was my way of adding a little bit of myself into it. Funnily enough, there is a banjo. I had to ask a friend if I could borrow their banjo. And this is before I bought my 6-string banjo the other day. So I had this banjo, and the only thing I could figure out how to play was this. And it's awful, but you don't really hear it. You only hear it in like, it adds like a texture and a rhythm, but you don't hear it by itself. This is what it sounds like by itself. It's so bad. It's barely even in time, but when you add it, really drives it, really like creates this cool texture. So that's happening in there. I probably went and looked at drums next. Now, obviously, this song has a bunch of cool percussion stuff happening. Not to mention like stomps. A bunch of claps happening where do they come in? So stomps and the claps here now. Now, my favorite my favorite thing in the percussion in this song is these things that I found these samples called war drums when I was playing these war drums, and they just sound so big. Like, listen to this. Oh man, so fun. And then what else happens? Yeah, there's some percussion stuff happening on top. Shakers and tambourines and things like that. And then some cool like drum fills. Where are my drum fills? Yeah, stuff like this. Just like random stuff that helps tie everything together. So when everything's going, I don't know if you can hear that properly, but anyway, so that kind of was the bedrock of the drum section, and then kick drum kind of speaks for itself. Then I went and recorded some bass guitar. Now, bass guitar is my favorite instrument to play. It's the instrument that I'm probably best at. It's what I played all through like high school and stuff. One thing I like to do with my bass guitar is I cut out all the space after like when I'm playing something percussive, like and rhythmic, I'll cut out all the dead space so that it really is like it has this like pumping sound. I don't know if you can hear this, and this isn't the best bass I've ever played, but boom, boom, boom. So when you have it all going together, you don't really notice it that much, but it helps to clear out some of the bottom end in between the notes you're playing. And if this is kind of technical, I'm sorry, but I'm sure there are people that are interested in this. It just really just accentuates the space in there, and space is killer. Space is so important when you're producing. I'm not very good at creating it, but I'm trying. The next and final thing is just like massive swells and stuff. I've had to break all the production down into groups because my computer couldn't handle it all together. So this is why you're only seeing, like, if you're watching this, you're only seeing like one track for effects, even though there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But just that kind of stuff. So that when it all comes in, if we mute the vocals for the time being. Something like that. In fact, I think that's wrong. I think maybe I accidentally messed that up while I was bouncing it. But whatever, you get the point. Then obviously, I'm just going to reset my camera because I think it's about to turn off. All right, we're back. Click. Then, yeah, lead vocals. I mean, one cool thing about these lead vocals. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Justin sent me the piano. So Justin, as always, I'll ask him like, hey, man, I really need a piano for this song. Like, when can you get it to me? And he'd be like, I'll do it tomorrow morning. And just like first take, he just sends it to me like within half an hour. He's like, hey, is this what you want? And I'm like, yeah, man, that's exactly what I want. So shout out to Justin. Just like, he's a wizard. But for the vocals in the beginning of this song, it's so low that I woke up kind of like today, first thing in the morning, so that I could get some of these low notes. Let's have a listen.
'Cause from that rubble, what remains can only be what's true.
Like, you can hear that I'm really struggling for it, but I think it kind of sounds nice, and like gentle, intense. And then yes, the choir. Oh man, I'm so excited to So I've broken everything down in this session because, again, my computer can't handle it. What I had to do is I had to do the choir in 4 different sessions, break them up into like 100, 120 voices each, mix them all together into separate parts, and then like bounce them, and then combine them all, and then like combine them into this one master session, which had them all in like groups because my computer couldn't handle it. That's why it took me so long, because my computer's like overheating and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, excuses. But now I've just broken them down here into like the different parts. And it could be fun to actually go through them and show you guys what it sounds like by themselves. So this is ladies lead. Now, let's be honest, if you're looking through like the TikTok duets of this, most of the people who submitted voices were women. For whatever reason, I generally think women are more in tune with their own voices, their own singing voices. I think women are probably encouraged more to sing and that whatever. That might be a contentious thing to say. It's not meant to be. Overall, I think women are better singers than guys and more confident in that. So this is what the women's lead part sounds like. Nope, doesn't sound like that. Why can't I get that by itself? Oh yeah, it's because it's turned off. This is what the women's lead part sounds like. Some people have put some harmonies in there that I couldn't be bothered to like change every single line of the thing. Chaps. And we will come back home, and we will come back. So you put the chaps and the chapettes together, and then alto comes in. And we will come back home, and we will come back home. Oh my God, sounds so good. And we will come back home, and we will come back home. Now if we move across, we've got some soprano parts, like this. bass. And we will come back home. So good. And then some tenor. And we will come back home. And we will come back home. For the record, I don't actually know if those are like actually alto, bass, tenor, soprano parts. I just did it like that for my own sake, but I'm not a trained singer. Don't really know what I'm doing. But when you put it all together, da 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 da. And we will come back home, and we will come back home again. You can hear my computer shitting itself, which is why I had to break it all down into these aggregated parts. What happened next? Oh yeah, Tessa Bird. I'm pretty sure that's her name. Hold on, I gotta check this. Because I don't want to be wrong about this because she's Tessa. Yeah, Tessa Bird. She sent me a message out of the blue while I was doing this, and she was like, "Hey, have you found it? What are you gonna do for the outro? Like, have you found anyone for the outro?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Oh, well, there's this part at the end of the song." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, of course." I was probably just gonna sing it myself. But she was like, "Could I do it?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, you can do it. Please send it to me." So she recorded it at her place and sent me all the stems. Like, stems are, oh, excuse me, I've got all. I just had to swallow a bunch of snot. Anyway, the stems are basically each part in an individual audio track. That's what we call the stems. She recorded it and sent me the stems. I put it together, and this is what it sounds like. Go, Tess. Beautiful, beautiful. Really put the cherry on the icing on the top of the song. And then when you listen to it all together, it sounds something like this. Again, you can hear my computer shooting itself. But so yeah, that's kind of what went into the production of this song. The final thing I will say is that the piano version, guys, if you haven't heard the piano version, listen to the piano version, because what happened was I was accidentally, I was working on the production and I had I tried to mute everything so I could just hear the vocals, and I'd accidentally left the piano going. And it was just like, I was like, oh my God, this highlights the choir so much more than the full production. And I was like, oh, maybe I should just throw the whole thing out and just use the piano. But I was like, oh, I could just release both versions. Some people might prefer the full production. Some people might prefer the piano version. But like, when the choir comes in at the end, oh man. All right, that's it. My computer's had enough, but you get the point. So what else do I want to say about this song? Amazing, beautiful journalist by the name of Bianca Farmakis wrote an article about it, which is very cool. It's very cool to see. I hope you guys enjoyed reading that and getting, got a kick out of it as well. Finally, the next choir that I'm going to put together. Oh, that's gross. Oh, that's gross. Just swallowing snot. The next choir that I'm going to put together is for my EP. Or I'm calling it an EP because there's like 4 or 5 songs that we put together that will be released at the end of the year. And I'm going to release a single from that every month until that point. And 2 of the songs on that record, I want to have you guys involved in choirs. So over the next couple of weeks, keep an eye out for that, because I'm going to be asking for your help. I don't expect as many people to contribute to my songs as they would to a song like this that everyone knows and loves. But I would love to have a couple hundred of you guys in the choir. I think that would be the coolest thing ever. So please look out for that. And again, to everybody who who sent me a video or posted one on TikTok and was part of this. Like, it's really is such an honor and a privilege to put something like this together. So thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Like, I don't want to go too far into, I don't want to name and shame people or whatever, but I had some really, really sweet and heartfelt messages of people sending me where they were like, hey, look, I just wanted to say that usually I'm really not confident with my voice, and I was super anxious about sending this to you, but I really wanted to be a part of this. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. And that's the reason why I'm like, please send it to me privately if you don't feel comfortable posting it publicly, because I still want people to feel as though they can be a part of this. And, I had a mother and her young son seeing it together, and I just commented. I sent a message back being like, "Hey, your son's got a really beautiful voice. He had a really powerful, strong tone, which is really rare for a 7-year-old." So I was like, "Your kid's got a really strong voice. Like, you should, encourage that." And she sent me a message back saying that she'd relayed that to him, and he was now crying, and she really appreciated that someone outside the family had given him that feedback. Because I think he was maybe just thinking it was his parents being nice or whatever, but stuff like that. And some of my favorite people. Oh, I was going to show you guys. Oh, quickly. I'll show you guys actually how I converted the individual videos into audio, and just so you can kind of see the process. So I have this video from a guy called Patrick. He's one of my favorite people in the world. He's been such a huge supporter of mine. Patrick, if you're listening, if you're out there, I love you. He sung on the last choir that we did. Anyway, so
So those of you who don't know what's going on right now,
if you haven't seen his TikTok video, made me laugh so much because his accent is amazing. So what? I brought it into my audio software. I froze the track and then flattened it, which basically turns it into an audio file rather than a video file. And then I just go to here, bang, cut that off, and here we go.
and we will come back home.
And then we do that 500 times. There we go. That's how it's done. All right. That's everything from me, guys. I hope that, I hope you got something out of this. I'll try to do more of this breakdown stuff as and when songs come out. But thank you guys for the support. Much love. Come say hi on whatever social media platform that you found me on. And that's it. Much love.